What's going on? Vincent Rappisardi, BigBlueUnbiased.com. I want to do a quick recap of Week 1, what the Giants did well, what they didn't do so well, what they can improve on, and what to expect in Week 2 versus the Chicago Bears. So let's start with the Giants' offensive line. I told you, going into that game, they were not going to play well, and they didn't. They were ranked 32nd in pass block win rate and tied for last in run block win rate. So they were really bad. And Daniel Jones had, on 26 of his dropbacks, he was pressured, which was 6 more than any other quarterback in Week 1. So it was a bad performance by the Giants' offensive line, but it was expected. Really tough Steelers defense, number 1 in pressure percentage in 2019, number 2 against the run in run defense EPA. Tough matchup. Rookie left tackle, Cam Fleming at right tackle, backup kind of guy, Nick Gates starting his first game at center. So they struggled, and that's something, let's see if the Giants can, it seems like you can only go up after a performance like that, but let's see if they can take another step as an offensive line against an interesting Bears front seven, specifically their edge rushers. Khalil Mack, Rob Quinn, they are listed as questionable, but it looks like they'll probably play in Week 2. Now, Rob Quinn didn't play last week. The Bears were 18th in pass rush win rate. Mack and Quinn combined for 80 pressures last year. Quinn did not play for the Bears. He was signed in the offseason. He played for the Cowboys. But those two, dynamic duo. Mack and Quinn, they can get after the quarterback. So if they are both ready to play and they're healthy and they're ready to go, which it looks like they will be, it's another tough matchup. I don't think it's as tough as what the Steelers offered as a group, as a front seven, as a whole. But it's still it's an interesting matchup. Some other interesting notes from the Giants offense as a whole. They only ran it to the left side of the offensive line twice. They ran it to the right side 13 times, had 6 combined rushing yards. They struggled in their 2 carries to the left side as well, so it's not like they were dominating, running it to the left side of the offensive line. But it's interesting. 13 carries to the right, 2 to the left. We'll see if that changes in Week 2. Also, very interesting stat. The Giants were ranked 30th in motion at the snap and dead last by a lot in pre-snap motion. So guys moving around, the Giants didn't do that. 9% of their plays had pre-snap motion. The next highest team, around 22-23%. So it was a big gap. The Giants really did not use a lot of pre-snap or at-the-snap motion. Very interesting. We'll see if that changes in Week 2. Maybe that's something they will continue to do. I don't know. I don't know what their plan is with that. But the top 12 teams in overall motion, right? They all won. And over the course of time, Seth Walder, who is an ESPN analytics guy, very good guy. I talked to him on the phone, helped me out. Definitely a good guy to go ahead and follow on Twitter. Really good follow on Twitter. He said that over time it has been proven that teams that use more motion pre-snap and at the snap, they tend to be more successful. Especially like EPA per play and just overall as an offense tend to be more successful. So we'll see if the Giants use more motion, if they look at the numbers and say, okay, maybe we need to do a little bit more motion pre-snap and at the snap. But I don't know. That's something to look out for in Week 2. Daniel Jones, Week 1, 41-yard touchdown pass to Darius Slayton. Daniel Jones last year was tied for second in the league in touchdown passes that traveled 20-plus yards through the air. So it looks like his big play ability down the field, it's still there, and he's looking to build off of that. That's something that I think in Jason Garrett's offense, the Air Coryell-style offense, it works. We will also see if Saquon Barkley can bounce back, right? He only had 6 rushing yards, and because he struggled, a lot of people started bringing up the question, okay, well, his pass blocking's not great. If he's not running the ball well, then is he an every down back? He's an every down back because he's a special playmaker. You want a special playmaker on the field to make plays, right? He's as good of a playmaker as there is at his position. You want to give him the football as many times as possible. You want to give him the most opportunities on the field as possible to make plays. Okay, so let's talk about the Giants' defense. A lot of people were asking, what happened to Markus Golden, Lorenzo Carter, Oshane Ximines, Kyler Fackrell? Why weren't they getting after the quarterback in Week 1? Well, because Big Ben is a savvy veteran player, and he realized the best way to get rid of the Giants' pass rush is to get rid of the football very quickly, which is what he did. He had the 4th quickest time to throw in the NFL after Week 1. 2.35 seconds. Interestingly enough, Mitch Trubisky had the third highest time to throw in week 1, 2.99 seconds. So if he does that in week 2, if he continues that trend in week 2, that's going to give the Giants edge rushers more time to get after the quarterback. The Giants were 8th in pass rush win rate in week 1. So they have a good pass rush, but Big Ben is smart, and he knew getting rid of the football quickly would get rid of those pass rush, basically eliminate the Giants' pass rush. Even if they were beating blocks and winning their matchups, he was getting rid of the football so quickly that Golden, Carter, Jimenez, Fackrell, they couldn't actually get to the quarterback and hit the quarterback and knock the quarterback down and get sacks. The Bears had the 5th best pass block win rate in week 1, so it's a legitimate challenge for the Giants' front seven. We'll see how they perform against what seems like a fairly good Chicago Bears offensive line. Leonard Williams, I did a video on him. He performed very well against the Steelers. 2 pressures, had a sack. Here's the video breaking down his performance. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick film breakdown here of Leonard Williams. We're going to talk some analytics as well. Last year, Leonard Williams had more quarterback hits and more quarterback pressures than DeForest Buckner. DeForest Buckner was traded for a first-round pick, the 13th pick in the draft, and given an $84 million extension. But he had more sacks, and that's the big box score stat. Not that sacks don't matter, but creating pressure, getting quarterback pressures, quarterback hits, quarterback knockdowns also add a ton of value. And Leonard Williams has been arguably the most criticized New York Giant since he was acquired last year from the New York Jets because of that low sack total. So let's watch a play here specifically. And this is what I talk about, and I've talked about so many times on Twitter and YouTube about how there's a lot of hidden value with Leonard Williams where he creates pressure. He doesn't get a lot of sacks, but he creates pressure, and he creates havoc and changes some plays. So here, 3rd and 9. Obviously a big play here, 3rd and 9. Leonard Williams gets pressure on Big Ben and forces an incomplete pass. And we'll watch it one more time. Again, so Williams gets the pressure, he gets the quarterback hit, and he gets the quarterback knocked down, and the pass is incomplete, and that pass would have easily been a first down. So that's the play where it doesn't show up in the traditional box score. You don't see that in the traditional box score. But it's a huge play. What that could have been, the potential of what that play could have been if Leonard Williams didn't get pressure on the quarterback. Let's take a quick look at the sack that Williams had in Monday night's game. He only had half a sack last year, so when he got to Ben on Monday night, a lot of people on Twitter, some were happy, but some just can't stand the Leonard Williams trade, so they will always say something negative. But on this play, I mean, he just uses his pure strength against Alejandro Villanueva, and this is a 3-man rush. And Williams is able to get the sack on a quarterback like Big Ben, who is not an easy quarterback to sack. So he takes him to the ground, gets the sack, his first of the season, and he just shows his pure strength. I mean, this is an incredibly talented football player. I don't understand why so many people hate the trade. I understand that Leonard Williams was going to be a free agent, but we also don't know if he was going to get franchise tagged or if another team was going to trade for him at the trade deadline. At the end of the day, his pass rushing potential speaks for itself. The numbers are there to back it up as well. The advanced metrics tell you everything you need to know about the kind of pass rusher he is. He's a good pass rusher. And he's known to be a good run defender too. So on Monday night, week 1, a lot of people, coming into the game, very critical of the franchise tag and of the trade. But Leonard Williams is a good football player. So this is obviously a huge game for Joe Judge. Does not want to start out 0-2. But the offensive line, last in pass block win rate, tied for last in run block win rate, 26 dropbacks Daniel Jones was pressured on in week 1. Hog mollies, a lot of talk about the hog mollies. Tough matchup, I understand we talked about the circumstances last week, but they got to be better. Evan Ingram, too, he's got to play better as well. But that's all I got. Vincent Repsardi, Big Blue on Bias.com.